tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview, the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, LA Style, and Detour magazines, Joan covered the social set, the Hollywood hotshots, the international art scene, the mysteries of food, the excitement of travel, and the fabulous world of fashion. Joan continues to find creative people on the cutting edge who make things happen. Here's Joan Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. Waiting to be profiled is actor John Forston and dancer Geni Benson. Writer, performer John Forston grew up traveling the world with his naval officer father. When the family settled in Florida, there he learned to surf and act. At the University of North Florida, he continued his craft. Did a specific episode get you into acting?
Actually, yeah, it was actually in high school. I had a high school teacher who really encouraged me to try out for this play, Cyrano de Bergerac. And I tried out for Christian, the role, and ended up, getting the role, and then won an award for best performance. But it was standing up on stage that one time that I walked off and I told him, I said, I think I can do this the rest of my life.
And you'd never done it? You never thought of being an actor before that?
I hadn't. I loved movies, and I would always reenact them, scenes from them for my mom and my sister, and, they would be laughing all the time. And I don't know, I had a natural thing to perform, but before that, I just didn't even have an idea about it.
Were you surfing then?
I had already learned to surf.
You'd already learned to surf. Well, then what brought you to LA? Surfing or acting?
Well, I think, there was a little thing that I said, well, New York or Los Angeles. Yeah. Well, I think I can surf more in Los Angeles, so I think I'll move to LA.
I think that's a lot of young actors, say, oh, we've got the beach, we can surf, and if it doesn't work out acting, we've got the waves.
Well, it's funny, when I was... I had this incredible teacher that found me in college who really took me underneath her wing.
Another teacher.
These teachers have really been so important in my life.
Isn't that great?
And in my development. And she encouraged me. She saw me work for her and said, I want you to study, I want you to get your SAG card, and I want you to get out of here and go to LA, you're going to be a star. Go.
That was in Florida?
That was in Florida.
Really? And she helped you get your SAG card then?
She, I started to train with her. I trained with her for 2 years, and immediately I started working in Florida.
Oh, you did?
And as soon as I got my first job, I got my after card, and the second job I booked my SAG, I got my SAG card.
Really? What were you doing? Stage?
Well, I had continued to do stage all from high school through college and then beyond, but then I started to get a lot of commercials, and I did
that's right. You did a lot of commercials. I
forgot
that.
Yeah, I did. And a TV show for CBS, and I did a Rescue 911 back then in Florida.
In Florida?
All in Florida, yeah. And as soon as I did, that was it. I was ready to move.
So you did study. You studied with Howard Fine.
Right. Yeah.
So you took a lot of acting lessons when you came out here, acting classes?
I did. It was really embedded in me right from the beginning that was the most important thing. And so I had begun studying in Florida actually with Eric Morris, who would come out from LA to Florida to teach with my teacher there.
Is that right?
That's right.
Oh, so she had a great connection.
She did. And then I came out here, I studied with Eric for a little while, and then moved over to Howard's and studied with Howard for a long time. And then...
So were they getting you out of commercials and into more theatrical?
Well, definitely. I think commercial was an easy thing for me just because my looks or something.
Did you have to act in commercials, did you think, or did you just be yourself?
Well, I think a lot of it was just having fun and being myself, but and then it opened up some doors for me, which was really nice, and I've gotten to meet some really nice, neat directors.
But you worked at the Groundlings, too.
I did. I studied at the Groundlings, and that was just so much fun and helped out a lot with improvising, and which I can't tell you is how beneficial or was so beneficial for this show.
The show you're doing now, which is Love's Well. But you had to learn all these different things. You went to a lot of TV shows. You've done film. You've done stage.
Right.
And now you're doing this one-person show.
That's right.
You wrote it.
I wrote it.
It's autobiographical.
It is. It really is. My wife will tell you.
Your poor wife.
Oh.
I was like sitting there going, how can he say these things about his wife the way he makes fun of her?
You know what's really funny is that, yeah, sometimes she's on the edge. Sometimes she's like, I can't believe you're saying that. And then the rest of the time she comes home after the show and she starts reenacting the scenes at home, and we have so much fun going back and forth with them.
She's like laughing at what you've said about her and what she does.
She does, and she gives it right back, and she's so supportive. I mean, she's even producing the show.
That's
so,
what's, yeah, and she's an actress.
She is.
So how do those lives mesh, the two of yours? You've been with her 7 years, 7 or 8 years.
We've been married 7 years, and we knew each other 7 years before that as friends, you know, and I can't tell you, so many people say, gosh, I couldn't be an actor and be married to an actor, and I couldn't see it any other way. I mean, really, it's so supportive, and we coach each other on every role that we both work on and that we both, you know, get.
She goes out and works a lot.
She does. She works a lot in television and film.
Because she's pretty.
She is. She's prettier than I am. She's
right.
great. Yeah, she does a lot of television and really is just right on the brink of having a full-blown career. So.
But one of those things that you do, how do you do that? So show me how you show the audience when you're reenacting her role on stage.
Oh, when she's, I want to show you what I did. Okay, I packed the cooler.
Right.
Okay, I put the drinks in there and hummus and crackers, and there's going to be dipping on this trip. That's right. Now I know you're going to want a snack after 30 minutes, okay? I mean, you're going to want a snack right away, but you're going to have to wait 30 minutes, John. That's right, 30 minutes.
But you do that, and then you go into your surfing jargon, and then you go into, who else is your mother.
My mother,
Your
that's
poor
right.
mother.
Johnny,
I
now
know.
you're so skinny, son. When are you going to move from LA? That's crazy land back there. Everyone's so crazy in La La Land.
So how did your director direct you? Because these are all personal people to you.
Terry Silverman is my director, and she teaches through Creative Rights. Well, I've been workshopping this material and performing it for the last 2 years.
I wondered how long it took to get to this point.
It's amazing. I had an idea about it that I wrote actually as a screenplay, and then thought of it as a play, and then really kept thinking one-person show. And Terry is so crucial to me. Because she helped to really sculpt this material with me to find out what is important, how clear can we be in the most concise time.
Did she also edit what you'd written? Or was it all your own writing? Or did you go to another class for that?
No. This was all my own writing that I developed with her. But what she was so instrumental in, and then a lot of my training from the past, just feels like this combines everything, is that we would get together and I would literally improvise for about 2 hours on stuff that I had written, and then from there pull out all of the good things, and then I would sit down and construct the story, and then basically come in and work with her on it. And she would help me say, oh, you don't need this, you don't need this. No, there it is.
And she moves you around the stage too, which with the one-person show, if you're not moving around,
yes,
you get a little bit boring up there.
That's right. I'm so happy. I can't tell you. I never thought, first of all, that I would even have surfing in the show.
Oh, really?
You know, because there's so many stereotypes about surfers and surfing in Hollywood and in general. But as soon as I would do it, everyone's, oh, I love that. You have to do that, and it really helps to move the show around.
One of the things that talking about surfing, and this play. Loves Well. It's about your surfing experience and going through your life. Surfing through your life is how I looked at it. But you're raising money for the keeping the seas clean.
That's
and
right.
helping the cancer center, which is so great.
Well, thank you. And I just think it's really important. It helps to raise awareness, and we're bringing like close to 1,000 people to see this show. And then in just the advertising alone, it's brought in a lot of people.
What is the cancer center, the Roy
and Patricia Disney Cancer Center? Both my grandparents passed away about 1.5 years ago from cancer, and I've always wanted to do something because they were so instrumental in my life.
And where is that center?
It's going to be in Burbank.
Oh, it is. And then the other one about the clean ocean?
The Surfrider Foundation.
Oh, and that's because you're a surf rider,
That's right.
And you brought your lei with you.
I did.
Well, let me just
There you
show
go.
this to the camera while you're telling me what Loves Well means.
Loves well or loves swell. I love that people take it both ways because I think this character is trying to be the best man he can be in his relationship, all told through the eyes of a surfer. And so he's a man that wants to love. He wants to love well and and loves well at the same time.
It's both times.
Yeah.
Right? One of the things that when I was sitting there watching you, and I was in the first or second row, you like just stare at your audience. Do you really see them, or is that just a trick that you've learned?
No, you know, it's actually something that has amazed myself. But I really feel like when we're talking about something personal, I really want to be able to connect with the audience and just talk to them. And so I see everyone that's in there. And when I'm talking to you, I'm talking right to you.
I know, you were talking right to me, and then all of a sudden you moved over and you talked to the person on the other side. And I went, he's talking to her too. Let's see how she's reacting to it. And I couldn't tell if you really saw us, but I guess you do, because you don't have that much lighting on the stage. I mean, you're not blinded by the lights.
No, I really like to be able to connect with the audience. Yeah. So hopefully nobody feels too uncomfortable.
No, what about what your parents and your grandparents influenced you, and Sean who? Thompson?
Sean Thompson, world champion Sean Thompson. When I was 12 years old, I got to meet him, and he came to Florida.
He's a surfer.
He's a surfer. He's a world champion surfer.
From Australia.
Actually, he's from South Africa.
Oh, South Africa. That
Yeah.
was your accent. So you did him too.
I did, yes. And he's actually coming to see the show. He lives up in Santa Barbara now.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
What does he do?
He now he runs he's still a surfer, and he has a family now, but he runs a clothing company called Solitude Clothing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so his company actually is one of the companies that helped to sponsor the show.
How great.
Yeah.
You have a lot of sponsors, which is wonderful, because it's all for such a good cause.
It is.
And that little theater and that area over there.
Tahunga Village.
So charming.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, you did a really good job, John. What about indie films? You're in a lot of independent films?
I am. There's one out right now actually called My Big Fat Independent Movie.
It really is called that?
Yes. It's a spoof. If you love independent movies, it's got every reference to almost any independent movie in there. And I played James Spader from Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
I read that, but I couldn't believe that you really thought that was true.
They fluffed my hair a lot more, you know, and then I dive into this kind of devilish kind of character.
How do they find you for these small films?
You know what's funny is that another play that I did, the director of that film came to that play and then asked me to be in this film, and so it's really wonderful like that.
That's what the showcasing is all about, because everyone says, how can you get up there and do a one-person play? You bear it all. But I think it shows your acting ability, and then it's like a networking thing, isn't it?
Well, you know, I've never been big into showcases, and
but
you know,
this is it,
and
isn't it?
It is in a way, but and so I've always done a lot of plays, and I really feel like this showcases and shows my talent in no other way, in the best way possible.
Well, we loved seeing you, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Joan.
And good luck,
Oh.
and don't go away. We'll be right back with Israeli folk dancer, director, Geni Benson. Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles. Geni Benson, the executive director of the Keshet Chaim Dance Company, began dancing when she was 3. She continued the study of ballet with Victor Marino while performing in his company. Then she came to a crossroads at age 15. Which way did you go, Geni?
Well, having studied ballet pretty intensively my life up till that point, the director of the company that I was performing with wanted me to go to New York and try out for the New York City Ballet and, you know, become a backstage student. And my parents would have nothing.
Oh, they didn't want that?
Oh, no.
They'd been sending you to school.
I think they'd just been sending me there to keep me busy.
They didn't know how good you were? Obviously, you were very good if they would accept you to the New York City Ballet.
Yeah, but the answer was no.
The answer was no. And then, so what did you do?
So I stopped ballet completely. And I
You cut it out. You just
stopped, and I started doing modern dance and jazz and cheerleading and all different other types of movement.
in Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles.
Uh-huh.
And when I was 17, I went to the Brandeis Bardeen Institute for the summer.
Where
And
was that?
It's in Simi Valley.
Oh, I see.
And I had a wonderful teacher named Donnie Dasa that taught me Israeli folk dancing.
Well, what was she doing?
He.
Donnie.
He was teaching workshops. They were,
And at that summer program.
it was a summer program for a month for college kids.
And where did he come from?
Israel.
Oh, he came from Israel. So, was it supposed to be all Israel related? The summer
It's set
camp?
up like a little kibbutz.
Oh, it
set up like a
was?
kibbutz, and people choose different arts focuses that they concentrate on for the summer, and I chose dance.
Oh.
And I was introduced to Israeli dance, which
And you didn't know
much-
anything about it before?
pretty much changed my life.
Yeah, were the different styles, and how did it differ from what you were learning? You were doing modern tap ballet, and there's so much of that incorporated in, it's a folk dance, right?
It's folk dance, but Donnie happens to do, his background is he performed with Martha Graham, so he's a very trained dancer.
Oh.
And so a lot of his choreography has pretty amazing movement. It's not typical folk dance that everybody can do. It's pretty stylized.
I see.
And it was challenging, and I loved it. And after that, I came back from that summer and got very involved in recreational folk dance several times a week.
So where were you doing that? Just around?
Folk dance cafes in LA.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. And then I was the artistic director of Keshet Chaim saw me one night at one of these evenings and came to me and said, "You need to come to our company." And
Is that right?
And so I.
Just because you were folk dancing at one of these cafes?
That's how I got involved with the company.
And then Keshet Chaim is how old?
22 years.
Oh, so it's a long time. KC Dancer Company.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's totally, the mission is dedicated to Israeli,
It's
movement?
No, it's much more than that. It's become an institution that teaches about Israeli culture, Jewish traditions, all through art, to the secular and the Jewish community. We teach little children. We have a major educational program. We work with all different types of people and have a lot of different programs.
When you went to the company to see the company, did you fall in love with what they were doing immediately and join it?
The first rehearsal. It just captured me because now I had a way to take everything that I had learned and everything, all my background, and put it into something that I was also passionate about, which was my Judaism.
Oh, so that it coupled with what you were doing. But where were they doing rehearsing?
The University of Judaism.
Oh, they were. So they had a built-in stage. They had a built.
They have a
room,
studio
they
there.
Have a studio. And how often were you going there? Is that where it's
Still
located
today?
today?
Yeah. 2 nights a week, about 3 hours of rehearsal at that time, and still is.
And who's the artistic director?
His name is Eitan Avisar. He's from Israel, and his dance roots are all in Israel and touring, and he's the artistic director, and I eventually went from being a dancer to administrator to the executive director.
And then the mission, is there more of a mission than what you told us, or?
The mission is to reach out to the community, to reach out to people, and to expose them to our traditions and our cultures through dance.
One of the things that now you're executive director, I mean, you've done the PR and the marketing and the teaching and all these different things. How did you learn all of this?
The hard way. The internet, asking people, meeting with people, taking courses, hiring consultants.
And were you still
Reading.
dancing all the time?
Yeah.
You were still dancing. And are you still dancing today?
Still dancing today.
Are you?
I'll be dancing November 19th at the Kodak.
With this Idan Reichel?
Idan Reichel is really, his company is the top group in Israel today.
I'm going to just show a picture of him.
He has done a fusion of Israeli with Ethiopian music.
Is he Ethiopian?
No, he's Israeli, but he grew up in a neighborhood with a lot of Ethiopians, and he loved the combination of the music together.
One of the things, this is a fundraising for Ethiopian
there are
Jews?
18,000 Ethiopian Jews still living in Ethiopia in very, very poor conditions that are trying to come to Israel. So we're trying to bring awareness to the situation and to help raise money for it.
And why did he get so involved in it? And does he incorporate the Ethiopian
The music?
feeling in music?
Absolutely. He has two performers that are Ethiopian, so part of the music is sung in Amharic, which is the Ethiopian language, and part of it is in Hebrew.
Oh, I see.
So it's a beautiful fusion of music, but it's also exciting. It's very appealing to youth. The kids in Israel and the kids here go crazy for his music.
One of the things that you've done is form this partnership, I guess, which is the KC Dance Company with Idan Reichel.
Well, we, as a company, another thing that we try to do is expose the audience to Israeli artists. We've worked with different dance companies. We've worked with different singers, different groups, bands.
You bring them together?
And we bring them here.
Oh, you
sometimes
do?
we perform with them. Sometimes we just produce their show. But we bring the best of Israel.
One of the things that I saw is that you work with the LA City school system too. What do you go into the classrooms?
Well, we are an arts partner with Los Angeles Unified School District, but we've been doing arts programming since about 95 for LA Unified, where sometimes we do a residency at the school and work with the kids, and then we go in and do a performance, and sometimes we incorporate the kids in the performance. We give workshops to the kids. So we're doing more and more of that.
And you have been recognized by the state, because I saw that you'd gotten a California Arts Commission grant.
California Arts Council, when there was money, gave us money.
Yes, I was there then.
No.
So I was sitting on the council
okay.
then, yes, when we had money.
Yes.
And we had an abundance of groups like yours that that needed seed money, and that we could get them started. And it seems like that's how your group started.
It started with that. It started definitely with the help of the city. The Cultural Affairs Department has always been supportive. The county has always been supportive of us. And
I'm going to show some of these pictures. These are you. Tell me what these dances are.
That's a piece called The Offering, which is from our most recent work called Neshama, Stories of the Soul. And this is another one from the same production, actually the same piece of it.
Same piece.
We have 17 women, 10 men right now.
I was wondering how many were in your company.
Yeah.
And this
Geni
is
Benson?
just
Geni Benson.
What were you
Enjoying
doing?
life. That's the Spirit of Israel, a dance called the Spirit of Israel. It's just fun.
Do you have live music?
Some of it's live, some of it's taped. But the music is, a lot of it is written for us. It's been composed for us.
This is great.
Yeah, that's the same piece. That's the group doing the Spirit of Israel.
And I have another great picture of you. This one.
is from a section of Neshama called Hallelujah.
Do you wear a wig?
No.
Oh, it's all your pretty hair.
That's my hair.
And this?
This is a piece called the Ladino. It's from Spain to Jerusalem.
Oh, so you have different ethnic backgrounds within the Israeli dance?
It's all the different places that the Jews live in, in the diaspora. So that's our Ladino piece, which really represents the Jews left Spain and they went some to Eastern Europe and some to Morocco and all different places, and then
So do you capture all those different kinds of dances?
Greek, we have Moroccan, we have Yemenite, yeah. This is something we call the Negev Cowboy, and it's our Western piece. That's actually me with our artistic director. That's Eitan lifting me. And it's kind of our signature piece for the merging of who we are, American with Israel. And so we took an Israeli piece of music and we put it to a country western beat, and it's just a fun piece. We used it when we left the country, when we went to Moscow.
Oh, did
We
your
performed
your
that.
group travels?
Yeah, we travel. So
Where else have they been?
we've been to Mexico, we've been to Israel, we've been to the Bolshoi Theater in Moscow.
So do the Jews from those communities support you, or is it everyone who because if you go to Mexico, there were a lot of Jewish people in Mexico from
We have
forever.
very mixed audiences in Mexico.
So the Mexicans would want to come and see what you're presenting on stage, because it must have some kind of...
Well, it's ethnic dance to them. They don't. It's not necessarily Jewish, but Israel as a culture is something that people all over are interested in.
And this is...
This is Idan Reichel with actually the two people that you can see most clearly are the two Ethiopian singers in the group, and they're just fabulous. They get the crowd going, and we are so excited about this concert. We're so excited to be working together with him.
Where do those Ethiopian singers live? Do they live in Israel too?
They live in Israel now.
And so they have the connection, which is part of this fundraising thing, and also probably just bringing it to the surface, because we don't know about that, Ethiopian Jews in need.
Well, many of them have been airlifted and brought to Israel, and the general consensus of what people think is that they're all already in Israel. They don't realize that there are still 18,000. And the people that are living there are living in such poverty. One of the things we're going to be doing at the concert, there's a wonderful organization called the North American Conference on Ethiopian Jewry. And they have a compound that they run in Ethiopia where the people come and work on crafts. They're amazing craftsmen, embroidery and brightly colored baskets. And so all those things are going to be on sale at the concert, and all the money, all the proceeds from that will go back to help those people stay alive and stay fed until they get to Israel.
Really, that's wonderful. Thank you, Geni Benson,
Thank you
for
so
being
much.
with us today. And thank you for watching the Joan Quinn Profiles. Keep writing to 777 South Figueroa, 44th floor, Los Angeles 90017. We'll see you next time.